Hey parents, Master Shill here from Peak Performance Martial Arts, back with another series on the top things that are affecting parents today regarding children. So today we're going to talk about cybersecurity or cyberbullying and cybersecurity. So a couple of things we're going to talk about first is what are the negative effects of cyberbullying. We know for sure, number one right off is emotional distress, emotional anxiety, just all these things that go along with it. And unfortunately, in a lot of families that we see here in the academy, is that some of these parents are just not involved. They're on their own phone. They're dealing with their own stuff. They're not getting involved in their children's lives. And so, my father said something to me back in the early 80s. He said, and this is back when we had a big inflationary rate, it was like late 70s, early 80s, and he said, this is going to be the first downfall of our society. And I said, Dad, why are you saying that? He said, when you were growing up, your mom was always in the home. So when you were coming home from school, your mom was always there. There was a parental unit inside of the house. She was always there for you. You guys were communicating, doing things. You were held accountable. It was safe. Now that both parents are having to go to work just to be able to, live comfortably, we're taking that other parent out of the home. So there's not that supervision. And with the phones, it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day full court press. So when we had bullies going on in school and we left school, we typically got a reprieve all the way to the next day. So it allowed our body to settle down and kind of relax. Now there's not. It's a full court press because these kids have phones in front of them all the time. They're in it all the time. And as you've heard me mention before, there's over 100 hours a week kids are staying connected, and the older they get, even with parents, they're just staying connected on these phones. So needless to say, as the bullying increases, because these kids have a pack mentality. So if one's getting picked on, it's like, well, it's a whole lot easier picking on that person than them picking on me. So I've got to get on board here or they may turn on me. I may get, singled out in the group. So their emotional stress goes higher, their anxiety goes higher. They get socially isolated, which is not good for children. We saw what happened during COVID with these children being socially isolated. I said that before when it's kicked off. We cannot do this. We just cannot separate these children away from each other. We're social beings. We need to be around each other, and we got to be around each other that are positive, don't get me wrong, not just be in a group to be in a group. You got to be around positive people to lift you up, hold you accountable, give you a sense of self-worth. And that comes from being around the right people. There's an old saying about you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if you hung around drug dealers, you'd either be a drug dealer or you'd be an addict. If you hung around 5 billionaires, you'd probably be rich. Now, the biggest thing I tell people is that if you're going to hang around successful people, just make sure their core values match yours, because not everybody that's successful has great core values. Another thing, too, about with the cyberbullying is that it leads to self-harm and sometimes suicide. And that's tragic. And as a parent, we don't want to look back and say shoulda, coulda, woulda. We don't have that opportunity if our child takes their life. And we see it and read about it all the time where a child feels like they had no other option. So what environment are you creating in your household that your child feels like they have no other option? You need to make that open communication so no matter what's going on, they know no matter what it is, no matter what they've done, they can always come and talk to you. And that's one of the biggest things we promote inside of our academy with our parents as coaches program and with our children is you guys have got to get together. Parents, you've got to have the ability to know what's going on in your child's life and be there as a source of refuge for them. Another thing, too, is an academic decline. Because in the social situations online, now they have to go back to school. And if they're already feeling embarrassed, they're already feeling isolated, they don't want to go to school. They want to and you've noticed it lately. All the kids want to wear hoodies. They want to get in a cocoon. This is not good. So all the kids that come to my program, hoodies are not allowed. Take the hoodie off. If it's not cold outside, which we live in Texas, it doesn't get cold very often. So unless they're outside, hoodies are not on. I don't want them in a cocoon. I don't want them isolated. I want them getting out. And that's what you need to do at home as well. It also leads to a lower self-esteem. They don't feel that they are worthy. And there's an old saying about whatever I focus on expands. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve that, then that's how they're going to feel. That's the way they're going to feel growing up. So a couple of things you guys can do is, one, keep open communication. Sit down with your family. Put the phones away. Turn the TV off. Have a conversation. Get to the dinner table. Do some games together. When you guys do something as a family, turn everything off. And I know for some people that's difficult. Sometimes it's me difficult. I run 3 different companies. But I know that when I'm with my family, I need to shut it off. And the good thing is my kids know that if I'm not, they ride me about it. And I'm glad they do, because it does remind me of my responsibility as a parent, because they are going to learn everything that they're learning from us. They're going to follow our example. So turn off the devices. 1, teach them about self-empowerment. Right? They're responsible for their happiness. Their friends at school are not responsible for their happiness. At the end of the day, you're not responsible for their happiness. Your responsibility is to lead them and guide them and parent them. You're not their friend. And that's another big mistake that parents want to make. Oh, I don't want to upset them. Life's tough. Embrace the suck, right? But the more they can do that, the stronger they're going to be. So teach them self-empowerment. It's one of the biggest things we teach in our martial arts academy. I don't even let parents carry their kids' stuff. Because the kids will walk up and say, here, Mom and Dad, and hand them their backpack and their water bottle. No, you carry your own stuff. You be self-reliant. You be self-sufficient. And we can teach that to them when we send them out in the world after high school. Regardless of what path they take, we're giving them a foundation of strength and grit and perseverance, which every child needs. The other last thing, and I'll tell you about, is get them mentors. Get them people in their lives. They're going to say the same thing you're saying, but it's just not you saying it. I learned that a long time ago. My oldest child has bipolar disorder. We went through a really, really rough patch. And Ryan's an amazing man now. But during that time when he was going through all that, I was lost. I could fix everybody else's child, but I couldn't fix my own. So one thing I'll tell you, parents, is get them mentors. Get them people that are beacons of light. For young boys, get them other men in their lives. They need that. They need to understand how to become a man. And our society today is really wanting to really take that away from men. And that's going to have serious repercussions. I'll talk about that on another video. But now we got to teach them how to be men the right way. Not abusive men, but just being a man and doing it the right way and understanding your responsibilities as a man. So if you want to learn more about this, go check out the blog at peakperformancemartialarts.com. It'll have all the things that are the negative side of things and how to rebound and how to get it where it needs to be at. And so just go and check that out. And while you're there, we provide great mentorship for kids and for families too. Check it out. I think you'll be highly surprised. This is Master Show checking out. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.